I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
All right, well, good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Unity Church of Overland Park. We have just a wonderful Sunday planned for you this day, but before we get too far into that, Reverend Carrie, would you open our service in prayer today?
I would love to. And I want you to know all of your souls are so welcome here. Yes. Oh, come on, smile when I say that. So let's just take a moment and go within. To know that our soul is what we are. And it's welcome. Of course it's welcome. And so we open our minds and our hearts right now to that reality, to that truth of who we are as spiritual beings having a human experience. To be able to come together in this place and share that truth. To deepen that truth. To come to deeper faith, to a fuller understanding. We are so grateful for this place and time right here, right now. For this is the point of creation. This is the point at which, should we choose, our life can change. And so we say thank you, God. And as we move into this time of worship, learning, and celebration. And so it is. Amen.
And now I'd like to invite you all to stand, if it's comfortable for you, and join with our song leaders in singing "Love Is My Decision."
Here we go.
Start. The
people around you.
invite you to settle in as Joel and Fred lead us into meditation.
I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God.
And so as we breathe deeply, sinking into ourselves, leaving the facts, the world as we perceive it out here, going inside, knowing that I don't even have to find my God. My God is there, deep within every cell and fiber of my being. I choose now to remember with that truth, knowing that at any moment, all I have to do is take a conscious breath and sink and realize that God is. And so I invite you now to go into that silence even deeper, releasing the boundary of your body, releasing the limitation of your mind, and just allowing yourself to be present with that presence. No efforting, no doubt, just the silence. And so we allow ourselves to come back, to not even come back, to just be in that amazing presence. Just engaging our boundaries, our physical boundaries, what's more. Opening ourselves to what is in this moment, knowing that in every moment there is God, and it is only a breath away. And so it is. Amen.
Would you please join me in singing the traditional version of the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. something, and you'll be mystified as to what went wrong. But when you wait, I know that something will make you realize before too long that it is beautiful if you make it so. God is with you all the time. It is wonderful if you let it flow. You'll know joyfulness in time. You are searching for your destiny. You are looking to be free. It will happen once you finally know that you and God alone will make it so. Sometimes it's hard to look inside, figure out what's going on. It can be hard to decide what is right for you and what is wrong. But after all, God created you and knows what you dream of getting out of life. And after all, it's not just a lucky few who will manage to see God's light. It is beautiful if you make it so. God is with you all the time. It is wonderful if you let it flow. You'll know joyfulness in time. You are searching for your destiny. You are looking to be free. It will happen once you finally know that you and God alone will make it so. 'Cause you've got the gift of life, and it's better to decide to make the most of every day. Yes, yours is the gift of life. It's in your hands to do it right. All the while, God knows the perfect way. It is beautiful if you make it so. God is with you all the time. It is wonderful if you let it flow. You'll know joyfulness in time. You are searching for your destiny. You are looking to
Well, once again, welcome back to our third week of Fall Faith. And this series, well, I started to say this series, the reality is it's the entirety of what our spiritual journey is about. But this series in particular is about trying to do exactly what we were singing about in that song before the meditation. It's trying to remember that we go inside to find that presence of God, that we go inside to be inspired by that presence of God, that we can effectively let go of the stuff that we're told in the world around us about who we need to be and how we need to act and what we need to do to be successful. Because what we know is that when we go inside to find that presence, that voice that speaks to us, guides us, not just to a place of our highest success, but it guides us to a place where we can be the most successful possible light in our world and make a wonderful difference for those people around us. Make a difference for how our world interacts and how we interact with each other. That's, like I said, really not just the goal of this Fall Faith series. I mean, that's what we're spending time looking at, but that's the goal of our spiritual practice, is to be able to remember that in any situation, no matter what's going on around us, no matter what we're hearing, no matter what's in front of us, that we can turn within to the voice of God and listen, and then act on what we're hearing. Now, that's a wonderful thing to remember, but there's a problem with that. And the problem is there are all of these things that we run into that distract us, not just from our ability to hear that voice, but our ability to take action on it. Last week, we talked about the idea of garbage talk, of this sort of trash talk that we tell to ourselves. And these are things like, you hear that voice of God that says, all right, it's time to go apply for that job. Or it's time to start writing that book, or it's time to go out and find that new relationship. And then that voice in the back of your head goes, why? You're not smart enough for that job. Or it goes, yeah, I mean, you could try for that new relationship, but who'd ever want you? That's that sort of trash talk that we tell ourselves that distracts us from that voice of God. And last week we talked about how you can affirm the truth of what you are in different ways. You can let go of what that voice is telling you, what that trash, garbage talk is telling you. So there's sort of this higher level talk, that garbage talk. But the other thing that distracts us is what we're going to really take a look at today. And that's what you might have heard it called monkey chatter or garbage chatter, or just that voice that's running through your head nonstop. I promise you that at least more than me experienced it the second that Reverend Carey said, and now go into the silence. And once she said that, I am almost 100% positive that more than one of us started going, okay, so as soon as church is over, then I'm going to stop down at Hy-Vee, and I'm going to pick up what we're going to get for lunch, and then I should be able to get home in time to get that all ready to watch most of the games. So that's that sort of chatter that starts running, and it distracts us from hearing that voice of truth within us. It distracts us from being able to really hear that voice of God. It's that ongoing chatter. And the thing is, it's much more apparent to us when we try to go into the silence. That's when it becomes increasingly obvious that this chatter is going on, because that's when we can hear it. We're trying to be quiet, we're trying to be still, and we're trying to focus on hearing the voice of God. And so naturally, this sort of ego side of us starts running its mouth about what we should be doing, where we should be going, and what happens next. But the thing is, that chatter, that's going on all the time. Whether you're trying to meditate and be still or not, it's always there, and it always serves to distract you from hearing that voice of God. I love the example that Charles Holt uses in Intuitive Rebel, because he talks about that moment where we get online to look something up, and then 45 minutes later, we're not really sure what it was we got on to look up in the first place. I'm guessing from the laughter that's happened to a few. It happens to me every Friday when I sit down to really start putting my thoughts onto paper for these talks. I'll have an idea come to me and I think, oh, let's just go online and see what I can find that other people have thought about divine order or whatever it is. And as I'm reading it, then I get to the bottom, I'm like, ooh, 6 ways to improve my golf swing. Well, I should probably click on that. Oh, hey, look, these 15 celebrities and what they look like now compared to what they looked like 10 years ago. Well, I wonder what Urkel's up to these days. And then before I know it, it's 45 minutes later and I'm browsing through Amazon looking for the entire series of Family Ties. It happens to us. This is how we get distracted. You see, these distractions don't just happen when we're trying to listen to the voice of God. It happens when we're going through every element of our day. So how do we deal with them? By becoming aware of them. You see, what Charles says is that these are distractions. This is the voice of the ego that's coming up. And what it's trying to do is it's trying to keep us safe. It's trying to keep us in the world that we've created for ourselves, trying to keep us doing the things that we've told ourselves, this is what I need to do to live a safe life, or this is what I need to do to maintain this comfort zone that I've built for myself. A good friend of mine likes to say that nothing fails like success. There's a lot of truth to that. Why? Because we get complacent in who and what we're doing. We're being successful, our life's going good, and so we forget to listen to what that voice is telling us. We forget to do those things where that voice is saying, grow, step out in this direction. We begin to be distracted. You see, the ego gets a bad rap in Unity and in New Thought churches. We're told we need to avoid the ego, we need to let go of the ego, we need to ignore the ego, we need to do what we can to get rid of it. It's not entirely true. You see, the ego is not bad in and of itself. What we have to be aware of are those moments where we let the ego run our lives. See, being aware of what that ego is trying to tell us, there's nothing wrong with that. It's when we give the power to that voice that's saying, you better stay right here, this is safe. That's what we need to watch out for. So don't worry about getting rid of your ego or trying to do away with it. Just rein it in just a little bit. Try and convince it to work with that divine voice that's speaking within you. So we have those sorts of distractions that come just from that inner chatter. That inner chatter about what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, and how we're going to do it. But then there's also the distractions that come based off of what we've told ourselves we have to do to live in this world around us. The way Charles writes about it in this book is he talks about this desire he has to feel busy. And that as an actor, if it was his day off, he'd have 4 or 5 auditions because he was afraid he would appear lazy. You see, in our society, we've confused the idea of being busy and active with having a purpose and what our purpose is to do. And we feel like that if we're active all the time, and if I'm running from this job to the next, and I've got to stop doing this because I'm going to go marry these people today, that we're valued as people in our world. Well, that's not the truth of where we find our value. Our value comes from within. Our value comes from living a life set to the purpose that is ours to fulfill. It's not about finding all of these activities and then filling our life with them, but it's about clearly defining what your purpose and what your intention is, and then living from that place. Let me share with you the way Charles writes about it and what his purpose is. And if you have no idea who Charles Holt is, and this is your first time here, Charles is quite an accomplished actor. He's worked on Broadway. You've probably seen him in a Law and Order episode here. There's many CDs and workshops. But what he writes is that my intention as an artist is to create vehicles that will provide opportunities for other people to experience more of the joy and freedom that life has to offer. Being consistently mindful of that intention prompts me to check in regularly with myself to see if my thoughts and actions are in alignment with my purpose. My actions will then manifest as plays, as concerts, CDs, books, films, speeches, and workshops, but the purpose The intention to embody the spirit of love and generosity comes first. See, this is the shift that we make when we start focusing on living our life from our purpose, as opposed to living a life to just be busy because that's what we're supposed to do. See, all of the CDs, the projects, the shows, they all showed up. But they showed up as a result of living our life grounded in that purpose of expressing love and joy. Now, I don't know what your purpose is. And honestly, it's different for every one of us. And it's real easy to look at somebody like Charles and think, well, my purpose is to perform and to be on stage and to be creative. But did you notice that's not what his purpose was? His purpose was to share love and joy. So whatever that might be for you, and maybe you already know what it is, but if you don't, what I would do is I'd invite you to begin by spending time in the silence. You see, this is a process that takes time to go in and connect with God in the silence. And trust me, the first time you go in and you close your eyes and try and get silent, all of that monkey chatter is going to come flying into your brain. But that's fine. As it shows up, just become aware of it, and then focus on your breathing and let it go. There's nothing wrong with the chatter showing up. Just make sure you become aware of it when it does show up. And as that chatter begins to die down, you can ask yourself, who am I? What is mine to do? That'll help you find what that purpose is. But even if you already know what is yours to do, even if you already know that your role is to inspire everybody to know that they are loved as they are, here's the thing I want you to know about these purposes. You can have more than one. Certainly there'll be one thing that is your life-changing purpose that you live your life by. But you can also have something that's your purpose for this day or in this moment. When you're sitting in that place of stillness, you might hear that voice say, today, be divine love. In everything you do, be love. You might hear that voice, or maybe not hear it, but you just get the feeling. I don't know how you hear God. I get feelings. I don't hear a voice. I just get this feeling. And you might just get this feeling that just, you know, today listen like you've never listened before. And as you agree to do that, as you agree to live your life with that intention, with that quality, what you're actually doing is planting seeds for that quality in our world. You see, we certainly all have that larger purpose we're trying to attain. But we also have a role to just spread that light and that love of God. Jesus tells a story in the Gospel of Matthew in chapter 13 that's called the parable of the sower. And I'm certain that there's many of you that are familiar with it. It's one of the more famous parables out of the Gospels. And in the parable of the sower, Jesus is talking about a farmer who is scattering seeds in his field. And he talks about how some seed falls on the rocky soil and it doesn't get the nutrients it needs, and so it dries up. And some falls and it's overshadowed by weeds. And then there's some that falls on the fertile soil, and that's the seed that grows into the harvest. And in Unity, we love to look at that as the power of our thoughts. You know, some of the thoughts, the creative thoughts that go out and they land on that fertile soil and grow into something in our life. And that's a wonderful way to look at that story. But never forget, you're also the sower. You're also the one that's spreading those seeds out into the world. You have a choice of what seeds it is that you spread. And, because I know how our mind works, do not worry what soil they're falling on. Just spread them. That's not how the parable works. The parable is not written that the farmer is carefully placing the seeds on the good soil. He's just scattering them. So when you get that impulse, today be divine love. Your role isn't to try and plant divine love everywhere and see that it grows into fruition. It's just to simply be love this day, to be that smile for that person in the line at the store, to be that knowing glance that just says, I see you, to someone else. The truth of the matter is you have absolutely no idea what seeds you're transmitting and how they're planting root, and it's not yours to know. But it is yours to plant them, to be like Johnny Appleseed, just throwing seeds out as you go around. Because it's through planting those seeds that we begin to inspire conscious growth in our world. We've gotten into this place in our society and in the world at large where we have this idea that we have to find somebody to fix it for us, that we have to find somebody that can come in and fix those problems that are within us and fix those problems in the world around us. And I was thinking about that idea and how that related to this idea of planting seeds, because as we plant those seeds, we may never see them grow up, but we get the opportunity to put that just little bit of knowledge that somebody's capable of being abundance or being joy or inclusiveness or love. But we begin to plant that seed of personal responsibility. Now, my daughter Harper's 2 now. I have a 2-year-old Harper at home, and we're all frightened at times. You just never know. Feelings come out of nowhere. But especially at dinner time. Because what happens now is occasionally she gets frustrated and the fork goes flying. And then she gets even more frustrated and the plate goes flying with the food on it. The dog loves it. Sarah and I, not so much. But what we've started working with her on is, well, Harper, this was your mess. You're responsible for cleaning it up. And it's time for us to realize that same thing is true for all of the stuff going on around us and within us. This is our mess, and it's time for us to take the responsibility to clean it up. And we do that through knowing what our purpose is, through identifying what it is that we're to express in this world today. Take 5 minutes in the silence every morning, just 5. And listen for what it is that God is wanting you to bring into the world today. No, it'll change day to day. Some days you may be love. Some days it may be peace. Some days it may be just stay in bed and pull the covers over your head. But take the time to listen to what it is that is yours to plant the seeds of in this world. See, it's not just enough to use these spiritual practices for our own gain. Yes, we want to find success in our own lives, but these are spiritual practices that are meant to be given into the world. So find your purpose, use it to connect with that inner voice, and then give from that place into the world to plant those seeds, to plant the seeds of growing our consciousness. Because it's only as we expand the consciousness of all of us that we begin to truly manifest a world of peace and harmony and abundance for all of us. But that manifestation begins with you. And so take the time to plant those seeds. Because next week, we're going to talk about the power of surrender and how surrendering can help remove these distractions to hearing this inner voice. And then we'll talk about forgiveness. And then we'll talk about what it takes to really let your light shine. But just know that each one of these steps help to remove one of those roadblocks, one of those dead ends, one of those things that's stopping you from connecting with that voice of truth within you. Because at the end of the day, listening to that voice is what it's all about. God bless you.
Just as high as I'm meant to. I'm gonna land when it's time to come down. I'm gonna sing with the voice I've been given. And when I'm done, I won't make another sound. No, I won't climb climb every mountain I come to. But when it's my time to shine, then I will. I'm gonna win when it's my turn for winning. And when I don't, I'll be smiling still. I am who I am, that's all that I can be. I'm not here to fight, to build a better me. I am who I am, I can only do my part. I find peace of mind by living in the boundaries of my heart. I have taken so seriously my feelings. I have taken so literally my dreams. Maybe sometimes ambition needs reeling. Maybe my pride is more powerful than it seems. 'Cause when I stop wondering what points I'm scoring, that's when I feel so much better and fast. I can let go of stories I'm storing and shred my resume at last. I am who I am, that's all that I can be. I'm not here to fight, to build a better me. I am who I am, I can only do my part. I find peace of mind by living in the boundaries of my heart. Just let it in and let it out again. If I breathe and count to 10, I am who I am, that's all that I can be. I'm not here to fight, to build a better me. I am who I am, I can only do my part. I find peace of mind by living in the boundaries of my heart. That's all that I can be. No, I'm not gonna try compare myself to you. I am who I am, I can only do my part. I find peace of mind by living in the boundaries. I find peace of mind by living in the boundaries of my heart.